I gave you 40 seconds to leave my house or I would blow it up. I was the one who called and said this to my wife's lover, who was cheating in my bed. The 40 seconds passed and then, yeah, that was me, Michael Reed, holding my phone like it was a detonator, my thumbs slick with sweat, standing in the shadow of my own hallway while my heart did kickflips in my chest. My wife, Ashley, laughed from our bedroom like she'd just heard a joke on late-night TV. The guy, Ryan, if the half-unzipped gym bag by my dresser was telling the truth, cleared his throat, this smug little sound, as if the countdown was a game and I was the punchline. Let me back up by exactly 0 seconds because this is the moment. The house smelled like our lemon cleaner and something else. Warm skin, tangled sheets, the kind of humid air that says two people just finished adult gymnastics. Our bed was wrecked, pillows on the floor like fallen soldiers. My dog, Cooper, cowered near the laundry basket because even he knew the energy in that room could melt copper. Tick, I said, because I wanted to hear my voice sound like steel. 35. Ashley rolled her eyes. Those same hazel eyes that once made me forget my own name at a 4th of July barbecue, and said, Michael, don't be dramatic. She had my t-shirt on, the gray one with the little bleach mark near the hem, the one that's supposed to live on my side of the closet, not stretched across the person who just set a match to our vows. The word for her that kept circling my skull was not kind. She wore it like perfume. Mean, cruel, a BH on purpose. Ryan stood up in my jeans, and tried to square his shoulders like he lived here. Man, you don't want to do this, he said, voice smooth as a sales pitch. A tattoo at his collarbone read, fearless. Cute. 28, I said. My mouth tasted like pennies. Nancy from next door is home today. She'll hear an argument, call the cops. You got what? Time to slide those pants off my floor and get out before blue lights ruin your Sunday. Ashley snorted. He's not going anywhere. And neither are you, Mike. She always calls me Mike when she wants to make me feel small. Back when we were college kids in Ohio, it sounded sweet. Tonight, it sounded like she was stepping on my throat. Something slammed downstairs. Maybe the stupid screen door that never latched. And I almost believed the house had decided to quit me, too. Then my phone buzzed. Brandon, my oldest friend. I ignored it. Another buzz. My boss, Jennifer, because apparently the universe enjoys slapstick. Another, my mom, Linda, with her daily check-in. Everything ordinary kept moving like a parade while my life blew a gasket in the first-floor hallway. 20. I could hear my own pulse in my ears. I swear to God, Ryan. He smiled. You're not gonna do a thing. Michael, Ashley said, all syrup and gasoline. Put the phone down, baby. You're embarrassing yourself. That word, embarrassing, hit harder than any slap. I wasn't embarrassed. I was detonated. 15. Ryan made a show of stretching, then leaned over to kiss her, my wife, in my bed just to puncture me one more time. I saw the way her mouth tilted, that little half-smirk she uses when she lies and enjoys it. She looked at me the way a cat looks at a bird feeder. It's not what you think, she said, like a reflex, barely containing a laugh. My knuckles went white. You think I can't count, Ashley? Her phone lit the nightstand with a flash of light. Eric Redhart. And if you're keeping score, that wasn't the man in my jeans. That was new. Sudden development number 4 in under a minute. She glanced at the screen, tapped it off, tucked it under a pillow. Spam, she said, casual as wind. The lie was so lazy it disrespected my oxygen. 10. Ryan finally moved. Not toward the door, toward me. Big guy, you're gonna take a walk. Cool off. When you come back, we can talk like adults. From the kitchen, Cooper barked once, sharp. The smoke alarm chirped, as if it sensed the ozone of fury. Somewhere outside, a car horn hiccuped. The whole world seemed to clear its throat and wait. 9, 8, 7. Ashley crossed her arms. This is my house. 2. Our house, I said. Paid for by the career you said would never happen. She rolled her eyes again. Here we go. Michael the Martyr. 6. Brandon's name flashed again with a text. You home? Saw Ryan's truck outside. You good, man? Bless him. The kind of friend who notices patterns. The kind of friend you keep when the furniture doesn't. 5. Ryan took one slow step. You gonna hit me? In front of your wife. He grinned at the word like it was a stunt. 4. Ashley laughed. He won't. He's all talk. He always has been. That was it. Not a punch. Not a scream. I did the craziest, calmest thing. I put the phone on speaker and dialed 911, then didn't hit call. I let the blue screen glow between us like a warning flare. 3. Ryan's face lost a shade. Dude. 2. From the porch, knuckles rattled the door hard. Nancy's voice carried in. Michael? Everything all right? I heard shouting. Ashley's mask flickered. She hated witnesses. Get rid of her, she hissed. 1. I didn't blow anything up. I didn't need to. The fuse was her mouth. The explosion was the truth. I stepped aside and said, Ryan, leave. Now. He hesitated for one heartbeat too long, and I added, Nancy is dialing already. Footsteps retreated on the porch. A second knock, more urgent. A car door slammed, and Ryan finally moved. Half trip, half scramble. Grabbing his keys, my belt, he had the gall to keep it, and bolted down the hall past me with a muttered, This isn't over. I watched him go with a stillness I didn't know I had. Ashley sucked her teeth, arms crossed, chin high, the queen of contempt. Congratulations, she said. You ruined the vibe. I picked up my belt from the doorway. He dropped it and looped it through my palm the way my dad, Robert, taught me when I was 12 and trying to make order out of chaos. Then I called out, loud enough for Nancy to hear, Everything's fine. I'm fine. I was not fine. I was a building learning it had termites. When the door clicked shut and the house shrank back around us, she smoothed her tangled hair and said, almost bored, You gonna clean this up, Mike? She gestured at the sheets. Or cry about it? Sudden event number whatever. I smiled. Not because anything was funny, because something inside me set like concrete. First thing I'm gonna do, I said, is open a window. And I did. I let the night air rush in, cold and honest, while the room, our room, learned what it felt like to breathe without lies. You don't just wake up one morning and find another man's jeans on your bedroom floor. No, it's a slow rot, a quiet drip behind the walls until suddenly the ceiling caves in. The first crack appeared 2 months before the countdown night. I remember it clear. Ashley had always been careless with her phone, leaving it on counters, face up, never worried. But suddenly she started carrying it everywhere, even into the bathroom. Once, at 2 a.m., I heard the faint buzz of a message. She snatched it so quick you'd think the phone was a grenade. I asked, Who's texting you this late? Her reply, That smirk. Work stuff. Don't be insecure, Mike. That word again, insecure. She used it like a slap, as if any suspicion I had meant weakness, not instinct. Then came the perfume. Not hers. Not mine. A scent too sharp, too new, lingering on her jacket when she claimed she'd been at the gym. And the gym, suddenly she was training like she was about to run a marathon. Gone for hours with no sweat on her shirt when she came home. And Ryan, God, Ryan. He was always around before. Some friend from her office she introduced me to last summer. We'd had beers on my deck. He complimented my grill. He played fetch with Cooper. I shook his hand and never thought about it twice. But then I started noticing the tiny things. The way Ashley's face brightened when his name lit her screen. How she laughed differently when she mentioned him, softer, almost shy. One night, Brandon, the guy who'd later text me during the countdown, pulled me aside at the bar. You sure everything's okay at home, man? He asked. I frowned, asked why. He shrugged. Just saw Ashley at Miller's diner last week. She wasn't alone. Didn't look like business. I brushed it off. Told myself it was paranoia. But paranoia doesn't leave socks under your passenger seat. Yeah, that was the kicker. A pair of socks, men's athletic, stuffed near the back floorboard of my truck. Ashley didn't wear them. I didn't own them. When I asked, she gave me that dead-eyed, careless tone. Oh, those? Probably from when I borrowed your car and Ryan helped me carry groceries. Groceries? in the back seat, with socks off. Still, I swallowed it. Because swallowing lies is easier than admitting your whole life is built on them. The final discovery came on a Thursday. I left work early, stomach in knots, something pushing me to go home. As I pulled into the driveway, I noticed Ashley's car already there, hours earlier than usual. Curtains drawn, music low. I walked in through the back door, quiet as a thief. And then I heard it, laughter. Not just laughter. The sound of her voice rising and dipping, playful. The kind of voice she hadn't used with me in years. I crept down the hall, every step like a hammer to my chest. The bedroom door was half closed, light spilling out. And I saw just enough. His shoes by the bed, their silhouettes tangled against the lamplight. My mouth went dry. I backed out before they saw me, sat in my truck, gripping the wheel until my fingers ached. I wanted to crash it into a wall, into myself, into them. But instead, I did nothing. I drove 2 blocks, parked, and just stared at the sky, asking myself if I had just imagined it all. The next day, Ashley kissed me on the cheek like normal, smelled of coffee, and said, "Love you, Mike." That was when I realized this wasn't an accident, a slip, or even a mistake. This was her game. She knew I suspected. She didn't care. She wanted me to choke on it. And so I waited. I didn't confront her right then. I let it rot, let it build. Until the night of the countdown, when the rot finally tore the house down. The night after Ryan sprinted out of my house like a thief who got caught. The silence was heavier than the shouting had been. You'd think Ashley would be ashamed, cornered, maybe even scared. No. She sat on the edge of the bed, legs crossed, filing her nails like she was in a salon. The sheets were still warm from betrayal, and she looked at me like I was the intruder. "You're overreacting, Mike," she said, her tone flat. "It's not a big deal. Not a big deal. A man in my jeans, in my house, in my bed," and she called it nothing. My heart pounded so loud I thought the neighbors might hear it. "Not a big deal?" I repeated, pacing the room. "You brought him here. You! Oh my God, stop." She stood, tossing the nail file onto the dresser. "You're so dramatic. We kissed, that's all. Maybe fooled around a little. But honestly, if you were more of a man, I wouldn't have needed him." That line, cut deeper than any blade. More of a man. After all the years, the double shifts, the busted knuckles from building us a home. She reduced it all to not enough man. "Don't you dare," I said, my voice low, shaking. She smirked. "Don't I dare what? Tell the truth." I laughed, sharp and bitter. "Truth? You wouldn't know truth if it broke down your front door. Who was calling you last night? Eric? Who's that? Another friend?" Her face flickered for a second. Then the mask returned. "Spam call. I told you. Spam doesn't put a heart next to the name." That got her. For a second, the claws slipped. Then she leaned close, whispered like venom. "So what if it was someone else? What are you gonna do, Mike? Cry? Hit me? You don't have the guts." I stepped back, hands trembling. Not because I wanted to hit her, but because my rage had nowhere to go. She was right, I wasn't violent. But she mistook restraint for weakness. Downstairs, Cooper barked again. Brandon's text buzzed on my phone. "Need me to come over?" I stared at it. God, I wanted him there. But no, this was my war. "I loved you," I said finally. The words came out broken. "I gave you everything." Her laugh was cruel, hollow. "Yeah, you gave me bills, stress, a boring routine. Do you know how suffocating it is living with someone who just exists? Ryan makes me feel alive. Eric makes me feel wanted. You make me feel stuck." My chest felt like it caved in. All those nights I thought she was tired, overworked. I gave her space, I tried to understand. Turns out she was just elsewhere, with them. "You're unbelievable," I muttered. "No, Mike. You're pathetic." She grabbed her phone, scrolled, and flashed the screen at me. A message from Ryan. "You okay?" With a winking emoji. She let me see it on purpose, like twisting a knife. I wanted to scream, to throw the phone, to throw her out. But instead, I breathed hard, every breath like glass in my lungs. "You're going to destroy yourself," I said. Her answer was a shrug. "Maybe, but at least I'll have fun doing it." That was the confrontation. Not a confession. Not remorse. Just her spitting venom and daring me to choke. And standing there, I realized Ashley wasn't just cheating. She was addicted to the power of betrayal, addicted to watching me burn. People think anger is the worst part of betrayal. It isn't. Anger is easy, it burns hot, it keeps you moving. The worst part is what comes after, when the flames die down and you're left in the ashes with yourself. That night, after Ashley's venom-laced little speech, I couldn't sleep. She sprawled across the bed like nothing happened, scrolling on her phone, giggling at texts, not even hiding it anymore. I lay there staring at the ceiling fan, every spin another reminder that my life was circling the drain. At 3 a.m., I got up, walked outside barefoot, and sat on the porch. The night air was sharp, cutting through the fog in my head. Cooper padded out and curled at my feet, his brown eyes heavy with sympathy only dogs can give. I rubbed his ears and whispered, "She doesn't deserve us, buddy." My throat closed around the words. I felt a hollow, like someone scooped out my chest and left me walking around with a body full of echoes. My hands shook when I lit a cigarette, something I hadn't done in years. I watched the smoke curl upward and wondered how long it would take before it disappeared. Like everything else I thought was permanent. The shame hit next. Not just that she cheated, but that I let it slide for so long. I remembered the socks in my truck, the perfume, the late-night calls. My gut had screamed at me, but I kept shoving it down because I wanted to believe in her, in us. And now, I looked like the world's dumbest husband. In the morning, Ashley acted like nothing happened. She brewed coffee, hummed, even kissed my cheek on her way out. "Don't wait up tonight," she said casually. "Girls' night." I nearly laughed in her face. Girls' night? After Ryan in my bed and Eric blowing up her phone? She had the audacity to feed me that garbage. And the sickest part? She looked me dead in the eyes when she said it, daring me to call her out. She thrived on the lie. When the door shut behind her, I collapsed at the kitchen table. My head in my hands, tears spilling out before I could stop them. I'm not the crying type. Not in front of anyone, not even myself. But that morning, it broke out of me, raw and ugly. I felt 12 years old again, the day my father left, watching my mom cry into a dish towel. Except this time I was the fool with the towel. Brandon called around noon. "Mike, talk to me, man. You sound like a ghost." I didn't want to, but I cracked. I told him everything. The countdown, the confrontation, Ashley's words. On the other end, silence. Then Brandon said, "She's poison, brother. She's spitting acid on you every day and you're still standing there hoping she won't. You need to decide if you're going to drown with her or climb out." I hated how right he was. That evening I tried to work, but every email blurred. I'd open one, stare at the words, and instead of reading them I'd see Ashley's smirk. I could hear her voice saying pathetic, boring, not enough man. The words burrowed into me, replayed like a cursed song. At night, I dreamt of her laughing with Ryan in my house, Eric texting her under the covers. I woke up in a sweat, fists clenched, nails digging into my palms until I drew blood. Sadness came in waves. Some moments I wanted to beg her to stop, to choose me, to go back to the girl I married in Ohio with the wild curls and crooked grin. Other moments, I wanted her gone so badly I could taste it. The contradiction tore me apart. How can you still love the same person you now hate? That was the emotional impact. Not just losing her, but losing the version of myself I was with her. She turned me into a ghost in my own house. And the sick joke? She slept peacefully beside me every night, while I lay awake drowning. When you catch your wife with another man in your bed, you think the decision should be instant. Leave, burn the bridge, never look back. But life isn't that clean. It's messy. Claws at you with memories, routines, the weight of years. The morning after another sleepless night, I sat at the kitchen table staring at my divorce papers. Half-filled drafts I'd downloaded weeks ago but never signed. My coffee went cold before I touched it. Cooper nudged my knee with his nose like even he knew I had to pick a road and stop circling. Ashley breezed into the kitchen, sunglasses on though it was cloudy. She wore the smugness of someone who knew she had me tangled. "Heading out," she said. "No kiss this time." Just grabbed her bag and floated out like a storm cloud that never apologizes for the rain. The silence she left behind was worse than the shouting. It gave me space to think, and that was dangerous. Option 1, divorce. Rip off the bandage. Pack her clothes in garbage bags and dump them on the lawn. File the papers, erase her number, move on. But then my head filled with her laugh from years ago, back when it was warm, not cruel. Our trips, the nights we stayed up talking about stupid dreams, the first time she told me she was proud of me. Could I really throw it all in the trash? Option 2, stay. Pretend it never happened. Try to fix it. Go to counseling. Beg her to cut off Ryan and Eric. But even saying it in my head sounded pathetic. Fixing something only works when both people care. She didn't. She liked the destruction. Option 3, revenge. My darker side whispered it. Tell Eric about Ryan. Tell Ryan about Eric. Blow up her double life so hard she'd choke on the ashes. A part of me liked that idea, watching her empire of lies collapse. But another part of me knew revenge wouldn't give me peace. It would just keep me chained to her fire. I called my mom that afternoon. Linda, sweet, tough-as-nails woman who raised me solo after my dad bailed. She didn't sugarcoat. "Michael," she said, her voice steady, "your father cheated on me too. I wasted 3 years trying to make him love me again. 3 years I'll never get back. Don't be me. Don't let her steal more of your time." Her words hit me harder than Ashley's insults ever could. My mom had been me once, and she clawed her way out. But decisions aren't made in one phone call. That evening, I went for a drive. I didn't even know where I was going until I ended up outside Brandon's place. He came out, leaned on the hood of my truck, and said nothing for 5 minutes. Just let me breathe. Finally, he asked, "So, what's it gonna be?" I didn't answer, because in my head, the decisions kept colliding like cars at an intersection. Divorce meant freedom but also loneliness. Staying meant humiliation but also the comfort of routine. Revenge meant satisfaction but also poison. And then, sudden event, out of nowhere, my phone buzzed. Unknown number. I almost ignored it, but something told me to answer. "Michael?" a man's voice said. "This is Eric. We need to talk." My stomach dropped. My world tilted again. I pulled the truck over, my hand gripping the wheel like it might save me from falling. Eric, the other man, reaching out to me. That's when I realized. The decision wasn't just mine anymore. When Eric's voice hit my ear, it was like a hammer to the skull. I'd seen his name on Ashley's phone, glowing red like a warning sign, but hearing him say my name, that was different. It made everything real in a way I couldn't push aside. "This is Eric," he repeated, quieter this time. "Ashley's friend." He stumbled over the word, like even he wasn't sure what role he played in her circus. I gripped the wheel tighter. "What do you want?" A pause. Then, "Look, I didn't know about you." I almost laughed. A bitter, sharp sound. "Didn't know about me? I'm her husband, Eric. The guy paying the bills, fixing the pipes, mowing the lawn you've never walked on. Don't tell me you didn't know." He sighed. "She told me you were separated. Said you were living in the basement, that you two hadn't been together in months." I believed her. Separated. Basement. She painted me like a ghost renting space in my own house. I wanted to punch the dashboard. "Listen, man," Eric said quickly. "I'm not calling to fight. His voice cracked. "You should know. You're not the only one she's lying to. She's been seeing that other guy too. Ryan. I found out last week." The world spun. My vision tunneled. "You mean the guy who was in my bed?" Silence on the line. Then a muttered curse. Jesus Christ. That was it, the collision. Me, Eric, and Ryan. All orbiting the same black hole named Ashley. She wasn't just cheating. She was playing us like chess pieces. I told Eric everything. The socks, the perfume, the countdown. Ryan sprinting half-dressed out of my house. He told me his side. Late-night hotel meetups, dinners where she swore she was working late, whispered promises about leaving me for him. By the end of the call, we were both silent, just two men gutted by the same lie. "Meet me," Eric finally said. "Tomorrow. Miller's Diner. Noon. We need to figure this out." I agreed before my brain caught up. Hanging up, I sat there in the truck with my chest caving in. The next day, Miller's smelled like burnt coffee and grease. Eric sat in a corner booth, tall, broad-shouldered, but his face looked wrecked, dark circles under his eyes, jaw tight with betrayal. We didn't shake hands, just sat across from each other like soldiers at a ceasefire. "She told me she loved me," Eric said first, voice hollow. "Yeah," I muttered. "She tells everyone that." Before I could say more, the diner door jingled, and in walked Ryan, smug, alive. He spotted us instantly, froze for a split second, then swaggered over like he owned the place. "Well, well," he said, sliding into the booth beside Eric. "The support group meets. Did Ashley send out invites? Or are you guys stalking me now?" I wanted to rip that smirk off his face. Eric's hands balled into fists. Ryan leaned back. "She chose me, you know. Both of you can get in line. She told me last night she's done with the drama. She wants a real man." The words were gasoline. I slammed my palm on the table so hard the silverware rattled. "You're standing in my way in my life, wearing my damn jeans, and you think you've won? She's lying to you too, Ryan." He sneered. "Bullshit." Eric pulled out his phone, shoved it toward him. Texts from Ashley. "Last night. Heart emojis, promises. Can't wait to see you again." And those weren't sent to Ryan. They were sent to Eric. For the first time, Ryan's smugness cracked. He read the screen, jaw tightening, then shoved the phone back. The three of us sat there, silent, a triangle of rage and humiliation. And in that moment, it hit me. Ashley had built her own battlefield, and we were her soldiers bleeding on the floor. The clash of worlds wasn't fists flying. Not yet. It was realization that we were all pawns in the game of one woman who thrived on destruction. And I knew it was only going to get uglier. The diner meeting lit the fuse, but the explosion came later. 3 men, 1 woman, and a mountain of lies. That math doesn't hold forever. After Miller's, I drove home on autopilot. My head pounded like someone had taken a hammer to the inside of my skull. Eric's hollow stare, Ryan's cracked ego, my own rage simmering like boiling tar. It all spun around me. I wasn't just betrayed. I was played, and she was laughing at all of us. When I pulled into the driveway, Ashley's car was already there, curtains drawn again. I sat in my truck, gripping the wheel so hard my knuckles went white. The idea of walking inside made me want to vomit. Still, I went. She was in the kitchen, humming, wearing one of my old hoodies, acting like a wife, acting like home. My chest twisted. "Where were you?" she asked, casual as pouring water. I stared at her. "You really want me to answer that?" She raised an eyebrow. "Don't start." I laughed, a sound so sharp it made her flinch. "I had lunch with Eric, and guess what? He knows about Ryan. We all know now. You've been juggling us like a circus act." Her smirk didn't waver. "So what? You think you're the first man to be cheated on? Grow up, Mike. This isn't the end of the world." "Not the end of the world?" My voice cracked, anger spilling like broken glass. "You brought him into our bed. You let another man wear my clothes. You lied to my face every damn day. And you call it not the end of the world." She rolled her eyes. "You're so dramatic. Maybe if you weren't so boring, I wouldn't need excitement elsewhere." That word, boring. It was the nail in the coffin. She didn't just betray me. She enjoyed spitting on me after. I slammed my fist on the counter. Cooper barked from the living room. My chest heaved like I'd just run miles. "You're poison," I said. My voice was low, steady, but deadly. "You don't just cheat. You burn everything and laugh at the ashes." She crossed her arms, smirk still glued on. "So leave then. Door's right there." But she didn't get it. Leaving wasn't enough anymore. Something in me snapped. like a rope finally fraying after years of tension. I wasn't violent. I wasn't cruel. But I also wasn't going to keep being her clown. I pulled my phone out, dialed Ryan. He answered quick. "What?" "Come get your girl," I said. "She's done here." Ashley's smirk faltered for the first time. "What the hell are you doing, Mike?" 40 seconds, I said softly. The words tasted like fire, the same fire from the night Ryan fled. 40 seconds, and if you're not both out of my house, I'll call every damn person you know. Your boss, your mother, your friends. They'll all know exactly what you've been doing. She scoffed, but her eyes flickered. "You wouldn't. Try me." Her phone buzzed. Ryan outside. She glared at me, grabbed her bag, muttered something under her breath, probably an insult, and stormed out. The slam of the door rattled the picture frames. Through the window, I saw Ryan leaning against his truck, smirking like he'd won. Ashley climbed in without looking back. They peeled off down the street, tires screeching. The silence after was deafening. My house, finally mine again. And yet I stood in the middle of the kitchen shaking, because victory felt empty. The breaking point wasn't just about her leaving. It was about me realizing the woman I loved was gone long before that door slammed. And the only way forward was to bury the ashes and rebuild. Alone, when Ashley's taillights disappeared down the street, I stood in the kitchen, fists unclenching, breath finally slowing. The silence of the house felt alien, heavy, like a cathedral after a riot. I half expected her to storm back in, laughing, ready for round two. But she didn't. She was gone. And for the first time in months, maybe years, I felt something like peace. That night I slept alone. Sheets clean, bed cold. No phone buzzing with lies. No perfume that didn't belong. Just me, Cooper curled at my feet, and the hum of the ceiling fan. Sleep didn't come easy, but when it did, it was deeper than it had been in a long time. In the morning, I sat on the porch with coffee and watched the sunrise. Simple, quiet, and I realized something. Her chaos had become my routine. I'd been living in constant suspicion, constant doubt, and calling it marriage. Without her, the world was still messy, but at least it was honest. The days after were a blur of cleanup. Packing her clothes into black trash bags, dropping them on the curb, ignoring the texts that started rolling in. "You'll regret this. You'll never find better. You're weak." Typical Ashley, never admitting fault, always twisting the knife. I didn't answer. I didn't need to. Eric called once more. "You okay?" he asked, his voice carrying the same hollow tone mine had weeks earlier. "I will be," I told him. Ryan never called. Maybe his ego couldn't take it. Maybe Ashley had already sunk her claws into someone new. Didn't matter. They were both her problem now. The real fight wasn't with them. It was with myself. Nights were hardest. Loneliness crawled in through the walls, whispering memories. Our first date at the county fair, her laugh echoing across the Ferris wheel, the vows we wrote ourselves. For a moment, I'd ache, wanting it all back. But then the other memories came, the lies, the smirk, the way she called me pathetic. And the ache turned to steel. I saw the truth. I wasn't mourning Ashley. I was mourning the version of her I thought existed. The girl I fell in love with was gone a long time ago, replaced by someone who thrived on destruction. What did I learn? That love without respect is poison. That lies rot a house faster than termites. That sometimes the bravest thing you can do isn't fighting for someone. It's letting them go. I also learned this. If you ever feel your gut twisting, listen to it. Don't let smooth words and fake smiles blind you. If your partner suddenly hides their phone, changes their routine, smells like someone else's cologne, it's not paranoia. It's a warning. To anyone standing where I stood, here's my advice. Don't wait for the explosion. Don't wait until your soul is ash. If they show you who they are, believe them. Protect your peace like it's your last dollar. As for me, I signed the divorce papers 2 weeks later. No courtroom drama, no begging. Just a clean break. Brandon and my mom stood by me, kept me upright when I wanted to fall. Cooper forced me to get up every morning, leash in hand, reminding me that loyalty still existed in the world. And slowly, life came back. I started running again, picked up old hobbies, even laughed at dumb sitcoms without forcing it. Do I still think about her? Sometimes. Betrayal doesn't vanish overnight. But now, when I think of Ashley, I don't see the girl at the county fair. I see the woman smirking in my kitchen, calling me boring while two other men waited for her texts. And instead of pain, I feel relief. Relief that she's not my problem anymore. The last lesson? You can survive anything, even the destruction of the person you trusted most. You don't rebuild the same, you rebuild stronger, sharper, unwilling to accept less than respect. Ashley taught me that, the hard way. And if I could say one last thing to her, it would be this. Thank you for leaving, because now, I finally know what freedom feels like.